Welcome back. Clock's on the stove. College
Sure.
football episode once again. We're gonna recap week 0 and dive into week 1. There's a lot about to happen in this next upcoming hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, days, weeks, however long this podcast is about to be. So buckle up. There's a lot of information that's about to be thrown at you. So
You
let's
gotta go to
start us
war.
off just right off rip. Let's go into week 0 recap. We had Western Kentucky beating Austin. I don't know how to pronounce it. Pay or P.
P.
38-27. Zach, you got anything you want to say about that game?
Yeah, I went back and watched some highlights. I was actually surprised P kept it really close. They actually had the lead in the first and second quarter, but with a lot of these FCS, FBS matchups, they can keep it close initially. But you start to see the depth come out and kind of like the rotations play a big part in like the second half of the game, and that's where Western Kentucky just kind of like ran away with it. So that's all that really happened there.
It really showed you how much they relied on Bailey Zapp last year also.
Yeah, for sure. But obviously they were able to make some second half corrections, came out a lot stronger, win the turnover battle in that second half. So I wasn't really impressed by them. They took care of business though, which is what you need to see.
Nice. Now, I think everyone's kind of game of the week on week 0 was Northwestern, Nebraska. Northwestern, do you even call it an upset? I know like on paper it's considered an upset because like
yes, it is. Nebraska, they looked so good. The first like
it looked great.
first drive, especially the first quarter, I was like, oh my gosh, this new quarterback, who is this dude? And then it just never fails. They just can never get it done.
Dude, they
Never.
looked great. All right, so first of all, Northwestern beat Nebraska in Dublin, Ireland for our first, I guess you could say, game of the week of the season, 31-28. And there's two major things I want to talk about. First is Scott Frost is not that guy. Everyone bashes Texas and USC for like we're back so much, but I think Nebraska is more embarrassing than those two teams. I think Nebraska is worse than Texas. And the thing that frustrates me about Nebraska too is like they just keep giving him a chance. Like I don't understand. And like they have this, you hear it from Will Compton on Busting with the Boys all the time. Like, oh, we barely lost. Dude, you could barely lose your whole season. You're still losing the fucking games.
Yeah.
Losing by 100 and losing by 1 is still a loss.
I'm pretty sure I saw a fact. This was like the 14th or something game he's lost by 1 possession or less.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can use it as an excuse to bring him back. Like the fans will be like, oh, but like, we're right on the cusp. Like we're right there. It's just like a few things you need to tweak. Dude, if it's a few things you need to tweak every fucking game, that means you're consistently falling short in the coaching category.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the biggest things that I had a problem with is right after the game, he's like, yeah, our offensive staff has to do like we're a little too vanilla. Dude, Don't you fucking sit with them and come up with the play calls for the week? And you're going to like immediately after the game be like, oh yeah, we got to go back to the drawing board. No, you need to go back to the drawing board and figure shit out before you roll out some stupid ass play calling. I mean, we were talking about it while the game was going on. Grayson, you were texting me. You were like, dude, it's so obvious. Like it's a 3rd and medium, 3rd and long. Like they're going to run a screen right here. Like it's so blatantly obvious. Like it's painful almost to watch. Like it's like watching your little cousin play football. Like, what they're going to do. But
yeah, no. And that was what's frustrating too. Sorry, I cut you off. Is their offense is like, and like Kaleb said, in the first half, they're producing. They were balling. And then for some reason, I feel like when I was watching the game, because I was helping my friend move his sister out. So I was like glancing at it, getting something out of the door, glancing at it. They were over 3rd and 8 every time they were on 3rd down. Every single time. They're playing 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20, 3rd and 9. Like, I don't understand. Like, why change? Why fix what's not broken? And I think the huge thing to take away from here is the onside kick. You're up by 11 going into 3rd. So much momentum. And you go for a fucking onside kick.
I don't get that at all. Like, why put your boys in that position anyway? You know what I mean? Like, you're already like, why kill your momentum? Why put your team in that position where like, even though Northwestern's offense isn't great, like you give someone the ball on the fucking 40, like that's so much easier than freaking having it on their own 20.
I want to say Northwestern scored 18 unanswered after that onside kick.
I saw a stat that if Scott Frost won his next 40 or 50 games in a row, he still wouldn't have – his record would be the same as Bo Pelini's when he got fired.
No, it'd be worse. It'd be worse than Bo Pelini's.
Yeah, like nuts. 40 in a row.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
I mean, he would have a couple rings though. He would have a couple rings if they won 50 in a row.
I didn't think I'm in no way a Nebraska fan, but I didn't think Bo Pelini was that bad.
I liked him.
I didn't think so either.
I liked him. And then he went to Youngstown State and went to the national championship in his second year there.
Yeah.
This is where I think you have an issue with some programs where like you're kind of a middle of the pack school and a Power 5 conference. Like you have a coach that's carried you so far and given you really solid records throughout the year, but you feel as an athletic director, as a program, that you're ready to take that next step. The problem is they didn't have a coach that they thought they had a coach that they could solidly be like, hey, we can turn the reins over to this guy and he'll take us to the next level. Obviously, they were way wrong in that department.
Dude, I don't know if I'm 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure the guy in between Pelini and Frost was the Oregon State head coach.
I'm not even sure.
I think he was. Dude, the thing is, Bo Pelini was good, and the problem is you had Bo Pelini when you transition from the Big 12 to the Big 10. So yeah, it's going to take a little. The Big 10's a much better conference. Yeah. It's going to take a little time to adjust, and I just feel like
recruiting and everything as a whole.
The culture of the Big 10 is different than the culture of the Pac-12, the Big 12. Yeah, I don't really got much more to say than that. I think Frost is done. I think Nebraska knows they're getting rid of him, and they're under the table looking for guys right now. I just don't think. I don't think Nebraska will ever be like the powerhouse it was. There's just nothing there. Like it's just corn, you know. It's corn.
I mean, I knew you were gonna say that. I fucking knew, dude. I gotta say something about that. I don't think I've ever seen a video where like it immediately triggers me. Like I think I was fine with the original video, but the edit or like remix they made, like I listen to it before I go to the gym just because how bad like it just ticks me off. Like
dude,
it just
I like it.
Dude,
I like the remix.
Like,
I'm like,
it like hits something in my brain where it's like you need to like smack a child like that. That's what it does for me. Like it's just immediate rage. But moving on from that, so last week we talked about some games. Utah State was, I think, 42. Oh my God.
How do you not like that?
Dude, no. Okay. I love the kid. I love the kid. I think the kid deserves some fame for his love for corn. But moving on. We had UNLV top Idaho State 52-21. I really didn't check into that game. There were other games going on. I don't think anyone really has much to say about that. I will say though, UNLV's turnover slot machine, fucking dope. Yeah, I thought that was the sickest idea ever. I was kind of against a lot of teams copying like turnover chain ideas, but honestly, like whatever gets your team involved or like kind of inspires them to like make big plays, like I'm all for it. Like do something to keep your guys like engaged, not engaged because everyone should want to play football. Yeah, but like get the energy up.
It's an incentive. It's an incentive.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, I can't give you the exact statistic on it, but I'm pretty sure when Miami brought over the turnover chain, they had like triple the amount of turnovers from the season before because it gave people a reason to get the ball. But then Zach, like you said, it's a cool incentive for kids. But so the NCAA is cool with that, but you can't use props in baseball.
Yeah.
It's just NCAA.
It's because baseball doesn't bring in enough money, so of course they're not going to let them have fun. They're going to be like, "Yeah, baseball, go fuck yourself." Like, dude, that shit pisses me off. But moving forward, we had Utah State, UConn. I remember in the first quarter, I called you, Grayson, because I was like, "Dude, UConn has the lead. Like our picks look fucking."
It was 14-0 in the first.
Yeah, I'm like, we look terrible right now. I'm like, we might not even be able to post our record.
Zach wanted to delete the post on our picks because he was like, dude, picks look so bad.
Yeah. I mean, I did say UConn was going to cover the spread because I think the spread before the game was 42.5. And by the way, if you ever see a spread of over 40 points and it doesn't involve Alabama, please take the other team because the odds of them actually covering 40 points is ridiculous. I mean, even Florida State, we were, I think, 39.5 point favorites. We didn't even cover that. And we dominated that game and we still didn't cover. But yeah, UConn got out to an early lead, but obviously UConn's UConn will never be like a prestigious program. I'm glad they still have a program, but I mean, they just didn't do anything.
Yeah. And then we got Illinois, Wyoming. I mean, I don't think anyone really gave a shit about this game. We did say the only thing I got to say, Illinois won 38-6. I will say we did think it was going to be a one-score game, so that was poor on our parts. But Brett Bielema is their head coach, and he had success in Wisconsin, sucked ass at Arkansas, but now he's back at Illinois. So, I mean, maybe they'll go 6-6. Who knows? I feel like Illinois is one of those filler teams in the Big Ten. They're just kind of like there to get teams wins.
They're just not good.
Ever.
I was kind of
The school's dope though. I think Illinois as a school is awesome.
Yeah. I will say, I feel like one of their biggest problems is as a Big Ten school, you can't be a pushover on defense. And I think one of the big things that I saw to them, I mean, even though it was Wyoming, they kind of stepped up big defensively, just with their front seven. They were able to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback and actually get into the backfield a lot, which you hadn't seen in years past. I thought it was a good showing, especially for week 0. It's what you want to see out of them. But obviously, like, you're not going to see them late in the year going up against, like, I don't even know if they're in the East or West. I need to brush up on my homework on that, but they're not going to be contending.
Yeah, Wisconsin side, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's the East or whatever. They're not going to contend. They're not going to contend for the Big Ten championship. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah. So next we got Florida State, Duquesne. First of all, don't know how it's spelled like that and then pronounced Duquesne. Makes absolutely no sense to me. But Florida State won 47-7. And I'm just going to give my opinion as a Florida State fan right now. Listen, there's been a lot of bashing of Florida State. Like, you guys are celebrating a win over Duquesne, blah, blah, blah. No. Listen. It's not that we beat Duquesne, or excuse me, not we. It's not that Florida State beat Duquesne and us as fans are excited about it. It's that for the last 2 years, these were questionable matchups for us. Like, it was like FCS team, like, you know? And
I don't know.
It was good to see Florida State do what they were supposed to do. And I think I'm speaking on the behalf of most Florida State fans where, yeah, we knew we were going to win the game. It was cool to watch them win the game, but it was just nice knowing that they did what they were supposed to do. Because it's been a couple years since Florida State's done that.
And it's not, and like 47 points is like, you know what I mean? The offense had to be doing something, or like turnovers or whatever. So like they definitely had to be playing like somewhat good football to score almost 50 points on somebody. So
exactly. And then you got three 100-yard rushers, Treshawn Ward with 127, Trey Benson with 105, and then my boy Lawrence Toafili with 101 yards. Lawrence.
Yeah, I will say 2 things. Number one, with this running back trio, I don't think we've ever had 3 100-yard rushers in a game. And that's coming from a program who had Devontae Freeman, Jacquez Patrick, and Deontay Wilder Jr. at the same time. And we ended up winning the national championship that year.
And there's a filthy fullback. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry I blanked that out. But there was a good fullback.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying we're going to win the Natty. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we may be a little more back than we once were. You know, we haven't had a lot to be happy about as Florida State fans in years past. So to finally be able to blow a team out and actually just like hear the fans get the chant going, like you hear the war cry, like we doing all that, like it's finally good to have it back.
It's not embarrassing to be a Florida State fan anymore.
There's some buzz right now. There's like what's going to happen in this season in the air. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Here's another thing. I am now a fan of Duquesne just because of what happened when Barstool posted a video of that one lineman on their sideline where it looked like he had his pants pulled up
that was
unreal. Yeah, it wasn't his pants though.
Yeah. Okay. So Duquesne came out with a post and was like, "Here's some Sunday red for you," and posted the photo of that same lineman to show that it was just a red undershirt and it had blended in. So I was a huge fan of saving their own players, reputation. Yeah, because people were clowning him. Like people were like, Florida State's bragging about this, and they got Steve Urkel on the sidelines, like wearing his pants high.
Bro.
And like, yeah, like, oh God, I felt so bad for the kid. But then the fact that the school stepped up for him, honestly, I want to see the kid get like an NIL sponsorship for some overalls because I think that would be hilarious.
That would be sick.
Well, like they just look like you're like, bro, like this kid can't be playing D1 football. Like,
that's what it was like. Yeah, those were the roasts.
Oh
he
my
was on
God.
the sideline, like
I sent it to one of my boys. I was like, this isn't real. Come on now.
Yeah. What's crazy is that kid, because I actually learned more about him. He came to the Duquesne program as like a 6'8", 240-pound tight end. And then they immediately switched him the next year, made him put on 50 pounds, and now he's an O lineman in his second year. So he had to make that big switch, and then not only did he was forced to switch from an athletic skill position to an O-line, which is already hard enough because O-line goes through hell. But then he got clowned for it by Barstool, and then his school had to save him. So glad Duquesne did that. They got a fan out of me at least. So that's one more person cheering him on. I'll always give him a shout out, and I'll let people know if they win a game week to week. I don't know how many games they're going to win, but we'll see. Moving on, we had our very own FAU Owls going up against the Charlotte 49ers. Out here finishing my degree down here in old Boca Raton. But I was really impressed with N'Kosi Perry. He was actually one of the finalists for the Golden Arm or Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, along with 4 other players. One of the people that was in the watch list was the quarterback he just went up against, and he absolutely wiped the floor with his ass. So you can take him off the watch list.
I also want to
N'Kosi,
say, Barstool on Pardon My Take, they had a guy on saying that Charlotte was going to clap FAU and that Willie Taggart wasn't going to have him ready and all this stuff. And I ain't no Taggart fan, but I am an FAU Owl fan. So I don't know who that dude was, but you got showed up, baby.
Go Owls. Go Owls. But yeah, absolutely wiped the floor with them. They didn't stand a chance. I said we were going to win by more than 7. I was like, we beat them last year by, I think, like 14 or 21. And honestly, I thought the program was going to get better. You know, Taggart's programs tend to get better over the years, just because he brings in even more transfers and recruits. And
Taggart's
FAU
program at USF got better over the years.
Okay. Let me be more specific. Programs that are non-power 5s, he excels at. Yes, they get better. And FAU had a ton of transfers from Power 5 schools that came down. This is N'Kosi's second year in the program. He had already set career highs in all his stats in his first year, and that was him just learning the program. So I thought for sure we were going to make a huge step, and we did. So huge shout out to Taggart, what he's doing with the boys. He's got the Owls buzzing, and tailgates were fun. So we're living life down here in Boca.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Moving on, we got UNC FAMU. And look, I said it in the last pod, and I'm going to say it again. Mac Brown is not that guy. UNC sucks. They're overrated. I don't think they're going to do anything. For the last, I feel like 4 years, it's been like USC's going to come up. They're going to take over the ACC. They got Sam Howell. They got this and that. They got that. They don't do shit ever. They started their season last year, as I said it last pod, in the top 10, and they finished 6-6. Okay, they're not good. And then yes, they won 56-24 over FAMU. FAMU had 21 players not playing in that game because of issues going on with the school where they kind of screwed over the kids. And they brought 7 total offensive linemen to UNC. 7 total. So that means there was only 2 not playing. 2. And they only beat them by 24. They should have blown them out. Blown them out.
I'm surprised that 1, FAMU played, and 2, that UNC let up 24 points, and like the game was close at half. If you watch the first half, you're like, oh shit, like
I think it was like a 10-point game at halftime.
I feel like it might have been less than that though, where I was like, I put it on, I was like, dang, FAMU's kind of keeping it close, and I knew that they didn't travel with like half their fucking team.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck UNC. They're gonna suck this year.
Yeah. Fuck UNC, Mac Brown, get out of there. We need
I will say I am thankful for UNC because last year, as abysmal as FSU season 1, we had that huge win against them
because they were good. So it was a huge
win. Yeah. We were so hyped. We were like, oh my God, we're going back to the national title. We're going to do this. and then when you watch the replay of the game, it was literally Sam Howell running the same RPO play like 87 times in a row. And then like you literally had our linemen like jumping the play, like they knew what was coming. I was like, that's how bad Mac Brown's offensive play calling
Johnson was his daddy that game.
He's a dog, bro. He's always been a dog.
Daddy. But wrapping it up, we got Nevada beat New Mexico State 23-12. I believe Nevada had 4 turnovers in that game. Shout out our boy Bentley Sanders. He had a pick. Should have had 2. Flag was called. Got it taken back. It's all good in the hood. Special shout out Zach Watts for calling the interception by Bentley. Crazy. Think Zach completely Hail Married it and it got lucky. Who knows? We'll never know, but it did hit. It doesn't matter about luck when it works.
Yeah, the college football gods spoke to me that day, and they were like, your boy Bentley, he's going to do something. But I actually thought his second interception was more impressive, but it got called back due to a flag. He made a great play coming literally across the field. It kind of reminded me of that Kyle Hamilton pick he had against Florida State, where he just like came out of nowhere and made a big time play. I will say their turnover trident, I'm not a huge fan of it, but
it doesn't make sense. They're the wolf pack.
Yeah, it isn't ASU like in their conference. Like, am I tripping?
No, but they're in their coast. Like they're like why are you like stealing the Sun Devils thing? Like the Sun Devils, like I would have understood if the Sun Devils were the trident. Like that would make sense because they're the Devils. But I mean,
I just kind of threw me off. But then again, like what are they gonna do for like a wolf pack? Are they gonna just make like a mink suit out of a wolf?
That'd
No,
be
I mean
tight.
that would be
sick.
hard.
But you know what else would be sick is like what the Vikings had would be like the wolf head and it like comes.
Yes, I was
That's what I
thinking.
meant.
Off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You give him like a mink. Oh, dude, that would be
We need to
hard.
talk. We need to get Bentley on here. We need to talk to some Nevada people.
That's a good idea.
That'd be tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, last two games we got North Texas beat UTEP 31-13. So another apology. I told Zach to pick UTEP on this game, and he went with me, but he originally did pick North Texas. So that loss, I'll take it, and we'll give Zach a 9-2 record last week, and I'll take the 8-3.
Yeah, I'm sorry to my green machine. I had literally done so many NCAA dynasties. I should have known better. Even when I simulate, we still whoop UTEP's ass. I don't even know what UTEP's acronym stands for. I think it's University of Texas at El Paso. I don't know why that just came to my mind, but yeah, if your school is a 4-letter acronym, I can't respect you as a football school. You got to shorten that up. I'm sorry. It's the same reason why Texas A&M.
We don't do 4.
No. It's the same thing why Texas A&M isn't good. It's the same reason why UTSA isn't that good. Like there's a reason for this. Like it's a commonality. But the last game, I'll take the blame on this one. I thought Hawaii was going to pull off the upset because I thought Vandy just wasn't.
I think everybody that follows college football did.
By the way, if you were to watch the game and you were to see Vandy's quarterback in action, if you would have taken away the scoreboard, you would have thought there's no way in hell that team put up 63 points. Like, I'm sorry, that same quarterback threw the ball away on a 4th down. Like, I just don't know. Are you watching videos right now? Please tell me you're seeing like clips of this man.
I didn't know. I'm reading it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game. It was on like 11.
Bro, oh my God. Like watching it, I was like, dude, like how is Hawaii not in this game? Like how? Like Vandy is literally like giving you a chance. But you kind of see like even the worst of the worst in the SEC can still compete just because they're used to playing like the top dogs all the time. They dominated the turnover battle, like just forced an unnecessary amount of turnovers. Hawaii was literally, it was like playing your 6-year-old cousin in Madden. Like it was sad. It was really
like when
sad
Cardell Jones played that kid in the hospital.
Yeah. I love, okay, by the way, I love that story because they were like, yeah, didn't you beat him 92 to like 8? And he was like, no. What had happened was I was actually up 92 to 8 with like 4 minutes left. And I put up 3 more touchdowns. So absolutely shit on that child. But he'll probably never forget that either. But that ends our week 0 recap. A lot of things good. I think me and Grayson finished with an 8-3 record overall. One of the things we didn't do, which we are going to make sure to do better this recap, is we're going to start adding the over-under lines. We're going to start looking more closely at some of the betting favorites with point favorites, stuff like that. So not only do we have straight up money line wins and losses, but we also have who we think is going to win spread wise and who we think is going to win based off over unders. So looking forward to that.
Let's get into the fun now.
Oh yeah.
So tomorrow, Thursday, or technically it'll be today when this comes out, Thursday, September 1st, my birthday. My Venmo and Cash App are both at Fishy Graw. If you guys want to bless, there's actually for Thursday night, there's some good ass games on here, bro. We start off with Central Michigan at Oklahoma State, number 12, Oklahoma State. They're a minus 21.5 favorite, 7 p.m. game. I don't really know too much about either one of these teams, but the thing that I want to just bring up is one, I think Oklahoma State's quarterback absolutely blows cock. He's terrible. He was terrible. He's the reason they didn't win the Big 12 championship last year. He's awful. But their defense was solid. I don't know too much about them, but the only thing I can remember, and I don't know if you guys remember this, was in like 2012 when Central Michigan beat Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State with the crazy pitchback, and the guy was on the 1-yard line running across and he just dived in and they beat them. So that was all I could think about. There just really wasn't any other like huge games to talk about, but I think it'll be fun. Central Michigan, they're usually a pretty solid MAC program that comes out to play good ball. I could see it being decently competitive, but I think Oklahoma State's going to take it away.
Yeah. So based off the homework that I did, Oklahoma State always comes out the gate really slow. If you remember last year, they played Missouri State in the opening game and barely won 23-16.
Yeah.
If you remember the year before that, they played Tulsa the opening week and had to make a comeback to beat them. And then if you want to go back even further, back to 2016, they were upset by Central Michigan in week 2.
That's what I was talking
Yeah,
about.
and that was in 2016. So that wasn't even like that long ago. But they have a historical streak of not only starting slow, but getting upset. So this 21.5-point line, I do not feel comfortable at all for Oklahoma State fans. You may be ranked number 12, but you kind of proven time and time again that you kind of get slapped around out the gate. And this is definitely a trap game for them. I mean, you're coming in thinking like, hey, we got this big ranking. We're supposed to be one of the best teams. We'll run through them. This Central Michigan team, like they're not going to stand much of a chance. But I'm sorry, Central Michigan is a solid MAC program, and they can definitely put up some points. I think like the attacking the spread confidence for most predictors was like half. So like it literally could go either way. And the over under for the game is 58.5. I'm not too sure about going over or under in this game, but I definitely would take Central Michigan just with the spread at 21.5 point underdogs.
Yeah, I agree. I would take the spread too. And then, yeah, Central Michigan isn't like some like they still got to come ready to play, even though they're ranked 12. You know what I mean? They're kind of thinking they're hot shit, but like Central Michigan isn't dog shit at all. Like you definitely got to come ready to play and freaking hold that 12 ranking and see how good you are, you know?
Yeah. So moving on from that, we have West Virginia traveling to number 17 Pitt. Pitt is 7.5-point favorites in this game. The over-under is 51 on this. This game will take place at 7 p.m. One of the big matchups or big factors in this game is JT Daniels, starting quarterback now for West Virginia. He did transfer from Georgia. So that'll be interesting to see how he plays out under a new program and new head coach. And we also have Kadon Slavis. Sorry if I butchered that name a little bit, but he will be the starting quarterback for Pitt. The Panthers
they were both at USC at the same time.
Oh, really?
That's why it's like a big matchup. Is they were quarterbacks at USC.
I don't really know how I feel about JT Daniels because he was at Georgia after, right?
I think he sucks.
Yeah, like I think
he sucks.
And I like Pitt's defense honestly, so I think that Pitt's gonna win. I would take minus 7.5. I think they're gonna and they're at home. I'll take the 7.5 and let them freaking go to work and like 17. I think they held that pretty good. That's a fair ranking for them. They had a good year last year.
And the thing too with this matchup is, like I said, I don't think JT's that good. Also, you need to remember what we were talking about. Zach was bringing up with the Nebraska, where they were shitting on the offensive coordinator. That offensive coordinator was Pitt's offensive coordinator last year, who won ACC Offensive Coordinator of the Year. So that's gonna be interesting. I don't know who Pitt picked up. I'm not a huge Pitt fan, so I don't really like dive into it. But what's it called? That is gonna be a new quarterback and a new system. I still think Pitt's gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be a pretty game. I think it's gonna be an ugly game.
Definitely.
Yeah. So little notes to write down for this game. So Pitt last year was really solid defensively. They were first in the ACC against the rush. They're number 2 nationally in sacks and 5th in tackle for loss. I'm pretty sure they brought back a ton of starters, so they're still solid on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, it's impossible to replace Kenny Pickett.
And Jordan Addison. They lost Jordan Addison to USC.
Yeah, and Jordan Addison. Yeah. 2 huge proponents losing on the offensive side of the ball, but defense is still stacked. They're still there. Also, Pitt's head coach, Pat Narduzzi, is 20-7 when he has at least one rusher rush over 100 yards in a game. And he has hit that mark 30 times. So I don't think Western Virginia's defensive front seven is going to be able to hold Pitt's run game. I think Pitt's going to be able to control the game on the ground and then kind of take the pressure off of Kadon Slavis. But I think Slavis is going to open things up in the play action game. You know, those kind of like third mediums, third and longs. He's really going to be able to open up the passing in that regard. Some notes about Western Virginia. They have a brand new defense and they are going to struggle really bad against the run. And this is not the team to struggle against the run. So if anything, I'd say expect Pitt to control the tempo early on, really slow down game. I think the over under is 51. I still think it's going to go over.
Yeah, it's gonna go.
And the only reason I say this is because Western Virginia has averaged 35 points per game in season opener since 2012. And I don't know if they'll put up 35, but even if they put up like 28, 30 range, that even if I think Pitt's going to beat them, that still should be enough to go over the over the over line, which is at 51. The line's at 7.5 right now. I'm not too confident in that. Don't know what I'd pick. I'd definitely go with the money line choice for Pitt though, and definitely hit the over if you guys are looking at that. But rolling into our next game, this is a must-watch game.
One real quick thing to add on to that
Yeah.
before you move on is you said that they had 35 points since 2012 with their opening games. This is the first time these two teams have played in the last 12 years. It's renewing a rivalry. Fun fact.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So next game, we have one of our must-watch games of the week, and that would be Penn State traveling to the Purdue Boilermakers. That'll be on Fox at 8 p.m.
This is the game of the day, by the way. If we had to pick a game of the day for Thursday, this is the game to watch.
Big Ten football.
Over underline set at 53.5. I'll let you guys start things off because I kind of got a lot I want to say at the end of it. So what do you guys think about this game? Who are we looking at?
Caleb, you want to start us off?
Sure. I think I would take Penn State -3.5. I think that they might, even though it's at Purdue, so this is like a little bit of a trap game. It's tough to play away in the Big Ten. It's going to be tough. It's a night game. Purdue is going to be rocking, but I think Penn State is going to I think they're going to have a better year this year. They've kind of been down, and I think that Franklin's going to I think they're kind of slowly churning. Like they had some good wins last year, even though they weren't great, but I think that they're going to start becoming more how they were elite. I think they're going to be better this year, and I think they're going to beat Purdue probably by around 7 points. I would say. So I think Penn State gets it done.
This is, I think, the hardest game for me to pick out of every single game throughout this whole weekend, because you have no idea what kind of Penn State comes out. You just don't. When I was doing my homework for this game, it's obviously set up to be such a big trap game, and Purdue is the king of trap games.
Them in fucking Iowa, dude.
And Purdue is 4-1 in their last 5.
Yeah, they're not bad.
They're not bad, but the way I look at it, these two teams are identical to me. They both have senior-led quarterbacks, okay, and they both lost a lot of depth to the draft. Okay, you lost both teams lost a lot of guys to the draft. Number one receiver on both teams, Jahan Dotson and David Bell are gone for both receivers, both teams. It's just so hard to pick, dude. Purdue's gonna be rocking that night. It's gonna be sold out. It's gonna be popping. I just have no idea what to expect. I also don't know the running back for Penn State. I don't know I don't know anything about him.
That's why I'm picking Penn State, is because who's gonna reload? Penn State or Purdue, bro? Who's gonna reload?
I know, but it's at Purdue. That's the problem. That's what makes it hard.
Franklin's got them, bro. I think
all
they're
right. Here's what I'll be the deciding factor in this.
I didn't pick anybody, by the way. Not yet. I'm just saying.
Not yet. No, I'll help you decide though, because Penn State leads the all-time series between these two teams. 15-3-1 straight up. Damn. They haven't met since 2019, and the last time they met, Penn State blew them out 35-7.
At Penn State, though, I'm assuming.
I believe so, yeah, because they didn't play last time. Also, Penn State's won the last 9 head-to-head matchups. So they've been kind of working Purdue as of recently. Penn State also returns more experience on the defensive side of the ball, and I think that is so much more important earlier in the year. Offenses take time to get going, and if you're already locked in defensively and you're returning more firepower, you're going to be putting a lot more pressure. Obviously, Purdue kind of has some help having it being at home. They can build momentum a little easier, especially with the fans cheering them on. But I still think Penn State's going to pull this out, and I do think Penn State's going to cover the spread.
Yep.
It's only 3.5, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But I think they're going to win by a little more than a field goal. I actually have it. The prediction I wrote down was Penn State 31, Purdue 27. Usually you think with Big Ten matchups, you have low scoring games, but I'm telling you, anytime there's a Thursday night Big Ten game, the debauchery takes place. You have
Thursday night Big Ten football is electric.
Yeah. This is when you have the craziest plays happen. This is usually what kicks off your Sports Center top 10s of the week, where you see big over the top plays, some massive breakaway runs. Like, this is the time where it's going to happen. But I just think Penn State, Franklin's still the head coach, right?
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, I just think he's going to have his boys prepared, ready to go. And that's no disrespect to Purdue. I love what they got going on over there, but I think they lost a lot of solid players in the draft. I just think Penn State just has a little bit better job of like kind of rotating the turnstiles and getting more players to fill positions. So I definitely got Purdue or Penn State. I mean, taking that one.
I am really torn. You guys made some great points, but dude, Purdue is the fucking king of upsets. I'm gonna rock Penn State. I'm gonna put it in. I'm putting my pick in for Penn State, but I think regardless of who wins, I think it's going to be a great fucking game of back and forth. I don't think either one of these teams are going to take a huge lead on the other. I think it's going to go down to the last whistle. I really, but I'm going to have to go Penn State. I'm going to take them by 7.
Yeah. Like that. So rolling into our Friday games, I just love how we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday games this week.
We're back.
We're getting blessed. Yeah, we're back, baby. One of the games I did my most homework on just because of how impressed I was with them over Wyoming. We have Illinois going to Indiana. And Indiana's 3-point favorites. This game will be played on FS1 at 8 p.m. Over under set at 44.5 points. Let me say this about the Fighting Illini. So last season, they only scored more than 20 points, I think, in 3 of their last 10 games. But they hired a completely new offensive coordinator in Barry Looney Jr. I think he showed he has the potential for some great play calling schemes. They didn't do a lot in the air. They were mostly a ground and pound team. And I think the reason why I think this is a problem for Indiana is Indiana lost Micah McFadden last year to the draft, along with 2 other players. And I thought he was massive for that Indiana Hoosier program on the defensive side of the ball. He's been doing some great things in preseason, which only kind of
they lost Penix too. They're starting quarterback with the Wasps.
Yes. Exactly. This is spelling disaster for Indiana. And the only reason I think they even put Indiana as favorites in this game is because I don't think enough people respect what Illinois is building. I'm not saying they're going to be a top program. I'm not saying they're making those jumps or anything like that, but they dominated. I mean, 26 first downs, 477 total yards versus Wyoming. Last season, they allowed 215 passing yards per game. But this season, their secondary is actually one of their strengths. It's one of the better things that they've improved on in the offseason. And over on the Hoosier side of things, Indiana went 2-10 last season as they got dominated by other Big Ten opponents. Luckily, they did kind of revamp some of their skill positions through the transfer portal because they kind of lost a decent amount of guys to the draft. They brought in Chad Will as a defensive coordinator as well. But I don't know. They tried beefing up their interior with some linemen on the defensive side of the ball. I just don't think it'll be enough. And then obviously, like you said, Penix Jr. They have now the former Missouri quarterback, Connor Bazelak, but he's not what Penix was. Penix was like kind of gross for Indiana. I know the record.
When he was healthy, he was a problem.
He was like one of my favorite QBs in the Big Ten. I was like,
and he's from Tampa, so A13 vibes. You already know.
Yeah. And not only that, the running back room for Indiana, no one. Don't know a single back there, no transfers, no nothing.
Anyone on the roster actually anymore.
Neither. I think one thing that'll help Illinois too is they already played 1 game. You know what I mean? They're kind of like in a role that
shooters are out. Those
they're
warm-up games out of the way. Yeah.
And this is also a good. I think I'm going to take Illinois in the points. I think they'll win outright. Honestly, Indiana. They were 2-10 last year, like you said, and then they're bringing in so many guys. You know how hard it is to like get everyone on the same page when like damn near all new receivers, all new quarterbacks.
There's no culture. There's nothing. They haven't had something like it wasn't like, oh, this is what we did before. It's like they're making their own culture right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that Illinois will win the game outright. And this will just be a good test for them to see like if Illinois is actually like building like we're thinking. You know what I mean? Because Indiana is sorry, but like Big Ten matchup is still hard to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not playing Wyoming. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good, you're away, 8 p.m. like night game. Let's see.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll rock with Illinois too. I like that. I don't know too much about it, but I do know that Indiana lost a lot, and I think that Illinois coming off that win. I mean, I can tell you as someone as a wrestler, I wrestled better after I wrestled better having a shitty first match than having a bye because I just got it out of the way. You know, you got the comfortability, you got everything. So I'll rock with Illinois too. I'll take Illinois. Next is the game Zach Watts is dying to talk about. By the way.
I don't know. Once we talked about it, I kind of like rescinded my initial thoughts, but I'll let y'all discuss this first because
All right, so Friday, we only got two real big games. We got Illinois, Indiana, as Zach said, 8 p.m. on FS1. And then the other game is not even like a big game. It's just better than the other games. Is TCU at Colorado. TCU -14. This can be 10 p.m. on ESPN. Over under 55.5. So Zach was coming in. So Zach had an error in his information, and he was doing his homework, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, Colorado hired Sonny Dykes to be the offensive coordinator. They're going to be amazing." And for those you don't know, Sonny Dykes was the SMU coach. He had a very phenomenal football program over there. Did a very good job. Was getting sought out for all over the country. But what Zach didn't understand was Sonny Dykes didn't get hired as the Colorado offense coordinator. He got hired as the TCU head coach. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know shit about either one of these teams. They're both kind of garbage. Colorado's coach is on, like everyone, including I'm assuming yourself, knows he's on the hot seat. He hasn't done anything since they went to the Pac-12 championship, 5-6 years ago. As well as TCU, they're garbage too, and their only offensive playmaker was Zach Evans, and he's gone. He went to Ole Miss. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much about this game at all, and I don't really care about it. But I think TCU is going to get it done. I think Colorado sucks, and I think Sonny Dykes going to TCU, you got to keep his Texas ties. It's going to help him out a little bit. I don't know about the -14. I don't know about any of that. I'm just saying I think TCU is going to
win. Okay.
All right. Yeah. After that miscue with the Sonny Dykes thing, I kind of rescinded. But dude, I don't know, man. Looking at it, it has me feeling some type of way.
If Sonny Dykes was the OC at Colorado, I completely agree. I completely agree with you. But he's not.
Yeah. Here's another thing. Here's one of the big things that I was looking at that just has me like thinking. Colorado kind of like needs to prove they have a pass rush this year. Otherwise, I think that'll be, again, one of their biggest downfalls for their season and why they don't succeed. We already talked about, I had their head coach on the hot seat at the beginning of the year. I won't even bother remembering his name because he's going to be gone, to be honest. Just hasn't been doing much. The Buffaloes, Colorado, has struggled to get 20 points in a game. It's only scored more than 20 points 4 times in the last season. And they've had the second worst offensive college football yardage wise. But for all of Colorado's problems, it was 3-0 at home after their loss to USC last year. And then all their losses came on the road. TCU, however, was 0-4 on the road in that same stretch. So they're playing terrible on the road. They got a new head coach, haven't really gotten much of transfers that I'm aware about. And not only are you bad on the road, you're going to Colorado. Do you know how hard it is as a Texas boy to go from the heat of Colorado to play in the mile-high city?
The altitude.
So they made.
Zach, I might have to debunk you real quick. I'm sorry. I might have to debunk you.
Go for it.
I like your statement of they were 3-0 at home after they lost to USC, but their wins were over Arizona, who I don't think they got one win, and Oregon State also sucked, and Washington, who also sucked. So yeah, they did go 3-0 at home after. I do agree, but I do think TCU is better than all three of those teams.
Yes,
I think so too. But I'm gonna back Zach with like the altitude. Like, bro, them boys don't know about that, bro. We're gonna have. I would take the +14. I could see TCU winning outright, but I would take Colorado +14 all day. But the altitude, bro, I don't know. Those Colorado. That's why they're good at home, bro. That's why
I had it written down. Colorado 30, TCU 27.
I respect that.
I'm just saying.
So y'all are taking Rado.
Absolutely not. I'm still going Colorado with the +14. I'm not taking them outright. I'm not that.
I'll take Colorado +14. I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I'm not that bold to say Colorado's going to do that, especially when I did say their head coach is losing his job. So that would kind of be like the worst predicament in my life. But yeah, that rounds out our Friday schedule. And Saturday is when things.
This is when you want to sit down on your couch and not move until you go to bed.
Turn your phone off, put it to the side, grab the remote. And if you're in Florida, go down, get you some Publix chicken wings. Go get you whatever beverages you prefer on your Saturdays.
Get some nice beers. Get some beers in your belly, some chicken wings.
Yes.
Let the family know nothing's wrong. I'm healthy. I'm just not going to be on my phone for the next 12 hours. There's a lot of
Yes.
college football that's about to go down that we've been waiting a long time for.
Yeah. And we're starting things off with UNC taking a trip down to App State. Shout out our boy Nick over there and App enjoying life. UNC's only so this is weird doing my research on this. UNC, they say they're 1.5-point favorites, yet they're the underdog.
Oh, mind you, this game is at noon on ESPNU over under
Yes.
56. And it's not an actual rivalry, but they're both North Carolina teams. So it's kind of like that, it's like a UCF FAU kind of vibe.
Still, you got to prove you're the top dog of the state.
Exactly.
Yeah. And let me say this. If you were going to put your money on this game, put the money on the over. And the reason I say this is App State's defense was top 30 in the country last year. Not the same. We've already talked our shit about UNC, but App State lost this is UNC. I'm sorry. UNC's defense was top 30 last year, I believe. And they lost a ton of talent, or what talent they had left, I guess. And they'll probably struggle to like get it going earlier in the year. Like a lot of teams just don't really gel early in the season. They're only returning 5 starters overall. So with that being said, their rushing defense was bread and butter, and with several new faces, I just don't see it happening. Oh no, this actually was.
No, that's about App State. Yeah, App State had a phenomenal defense last year.
Yeah. Okay, so I was right to begin with. I don't know why I switched
said was about App State, not UNC.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just too in the head mental space of shitting on UNC, and I think they're gonna lose. Let me get that out there right now. I think they're losing to this App State team. And I think May is overrated. Y'all beat a depleted FAMU roster, and y'all decided to post graphics about how he was the next Sam Howell because he threw for 5 TDs. Dude, he threw for 5 TDs and didn't even break 300 yards. What does that say? What does that say about? What does that say about?
They just ran it down to the goal line, and then he just dumped it.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, let me do a little play action, like dump it out, like get the fuck out of here, like bro, shut up, like no." And they're like, "Oh, he was 19 for 24, dude. You put me a quarterback, I could hit my fucking running back if I was throwing halfback swing routes the whole game." Like when
Jalen Hurts and they won the Natty at Alabama, and I think it was like 19 of his 20 passes were within 5 yards.
Yeah, like what are we talking about? This is the problem with like just bad stats, because you go back to how I said Colorado was 3-0. If you just did like a little more homework and looked and saw the 3 teams they beat, you would have been like, oh, that is not impressive at all. But yeah, I guess we'll do anything to hype up UNC, but not happening.
It's like the college football environment wants USC to be good so bad. It's like they want it. Like it's like for some reason they want it. And I also, and I told Zach this when I put this on the paper, I said, I know this game doesn't look too appealing. First of all, I think it's going to be a very competitive game. I don't think either one of these teams are going to blow each other out. I think it's going to be a good game, fun to watch. And a little bit of homework for those of you who don't know. Kaleb knows very well. App State, very good team in big games. All right. They upset number 2 in the country at the time, Michigan, when they were an FCS program. They have numerous FCS national titles. And I want to say they've won like at least 3 Sun Belt conferences since they've been in the FBS.
Oh, they're fucking nice.
Dude, App State's not a bad team. And I don't know if you know this either. Their home games are bumping. They sell out. Like they have a good crowd. And especially for this game, you already know a lot of these kids definitely went to high school and stuff together because they're all they're all North Carolina kids. I just don't see the UNC team that did what they did against FAMU, there's nowhere they're going to App State and beating them. There's just no chance. Yeah. I understand the defense got hurt, but you still got leadership from Chase Bryce, a quarterback who had a phenomenal season last year. Okay, I don't see App State losing this game. I think it's going to be an upset, but I think App State's going to take it. I really do. I don't see when I look at it and I had to pick out like, all right, what are the possible ways for UNC to win? I have more ways in my mind for App State to win than I do UNC.
I'm going to bet on UNC's quarterback fucking up before App State's. I think App State's I think their offense is going to control the game. The O-line's decent. Running backs are athletic. They got some athletes on that team. Those boys are good. I'm going to take App State too. They're plus 1.5 at home. Shit.
Yeah.
Top dog. They're going to be top dog.
Yes, sir. Yeah. The Mountaineers.
Building off what Kaleb said a little bit about how their line's solid. They returned 4 of their 5 offensive linemen from last year. So their line is only going to get better, and they're returning their top 2 rushers from last year. So even though they lost
their quarterback,
yeah, I will say they did take a hit in the receiving department. They lost all 3 of their top receivers, but with Chase Bryce's kind of like veteran leadership back there, you don't have to really rely too much there because your line got better and your running backs are still there. If things aren't working out through the air, just hand it off. You were the number 22 ranked offense last year. I'm sure you can find a way to at least be top 35, because I promise you UNC ain't top 35 in any aspect except for maybe sucking. So I'm seeing some fat L's coming UNC's way. Chapel Hill, go write yourself.
Bro, this just became a UNC weekend. Burner account. Clocks on the side.
Hey, no, let's name our top 3 hated schools. We're going USC number 1. We're going Texas 2, and then we're going UNC 3. Those are my top 3 most hated programs in order.
Yeah, I do hate UNC. I don't like them. But yeah, anyways, we're all rocking with UNC. The next game, I really have a lot to say about this one. This is a game I've been looking at for a long time. We got number 11 Oregon versus number 3 Georgia. 3:30 on ABC. Georgia coming in at a -17. It's in Georgia. It's not at UGA though. It's a Chick-fil-A kickoff game. So listen, there's a lot of things. What were we gonna say?
Oh, wait. It's not at Georgia, but it's in Atlanta.
It's basically at.
What is that? What is that?
It's 3 hours.
It's going to be primarily Georgia. All right, I get that, but it's still a neutral site game. That does make somewhat of a difference. Listen, I before we start this off, before I go into my rant I'm about to go into, I do not think Oregon is going to win. I don't think so. I do not think they're going to win this game.
I agree.
But I don't think Georgia's beating them by 17.
Okay. I can agree with you. So
here's what I got to say. First of all, I believe Georgia lost 9 of their 11 defensive starters.
Sheesh.
No, listen. It doesn't matter because all their backups are just as good. And like Zach said, they have 5 guys projected to go in the first round already. So like it doesn't even matter. The way I look at this game, there's in my opinion, the biggest factor is the trenches. I think the DBs and receivers and running backs for both teams are equivalent. You're at Oregon, there's speed everywhere. Okay, I don't see that being a factor. This is how I look at this game. First of all, your head coach for Oregon, Dan Lanning, was the defensive coordinator for Georgia for 3 years.
The past 3 years.
They were gross. Okay. So he understands what he might. Yeah, they're going to tweak it a little bit because they know, like he knows, but he's going to understand the culture and the vibe. He's going to know how they're prepping for this game. He's going to know what they're going to be yelling at their coach, like at what the coach is going to be saying. Like he was there. He understands. So he's going to be able to tell his guys, like, and I know as an example, when you have a coach from another program and you're getting ready to play that program, you get more comfortable because you know that they know a lot, So I think he's going to have them prepared, but I do think the trenches that there's a big difference of SEC O-line D-line and Pac-12 O-line D-line. It's a big difference. So I see this game going 2 ways. I see Georgia slowing it the hell down, making it very boring and just grinding it out with the run game and just destroying them. Or I see Oregon saying, screw defenses, run the scoreboard up and just get the points flying. I cannot see, first of all, Bo Nix is the quarterback at Oregon. I don't think he's that good. No, not at all. But the man somehow pulls miracle wins out of his ass. He did it at Auburn. He somehow wins games he's just not supposed to win. And I don't know. It would be very Bo Nix of him to have a great game. And then to follow that, wait, one more thing, Caleb, one more thing. To follow that, what's it called? Oh, fuck, you lost me my train. Oh, yeah, they're going to run up the points. You got Bo Nix. You got all these things. I cannot see Stetson Bennett throwing 3 touchdowns in the game. I can't. I can't. So that's why I think if Oregon's smart, they're gonna rotate the fuck out of their defense. If I'm Dan Lanning, I'm the head coach. My D line and linebackers are getting rotated like nonstop. I want fresh guys in as much as possible, and my offense is just score. That's the only way you're gonna be it. Stetson Bennett cannot put up 28 points by himself. He can't.
He sucks.
Yeah, he sucks. There's no and if you run it up and you make it a high scoring game, they can't just run the ball over you. They have to throw it. Now, and like I said, regardless of either way, I still think Georgia wins. They're just a way better team, but I'm gonna take Oregon plus 17. I don't see Georgia beating them by 3 scores.
That's basically what I was gonna say is if you're Oregon, like make Stetson Bennett beat you. You know what I mean? That's the way you're gonna win because He's my least favorite player in college football. I'm like my least favorite. I fucking hate that dude.
He's got
But
a ring though, bro. He's got a
fuck
ring.
him. He's the worst quarterback to win a natty in the past 20 years. But anyway, besides that, yeah, I think that if Oregon wants to win, they got to score and make Stetson Bennett make the big throws, make him beat you instead of if they slow it down and them big dogs in the trenches, they're just gonna run all over you. I don't know who their running back is, but you know they got somebody.
Does it matter though?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You know they got somebody that's just a fucking dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you, Grayson. I'll take Oregon with the points, and then I think Georgia is gonna win outright, but make Stetson Bennett beat you, and then let freaking Bo Nix rock. You pull shit out of his ass, make him throw fucking 4 tutties or whatever, and run for 1 or 2.
Yeah. I'm just saying this is very reminiscent of what had happened last year. You had Oregon go on down to Ohio State. Ohio State was favored. Or yeah, sorry.
I just love saying go down.
Yeah, go right, because you always say we're going on down to but you had the Ducks travel to Columbus to take on Ohio State. Ohio State was favored to blow them out week 1. And what ended up happening? Oregon
I think it was week 2. I think they were both 1.
Was it week 2?
Yeah,
I think it was week 2.
Yeah. So they took on number 3 Ohio State. Expected to be a blowout for the Buckeyes. Oregon 135-28. And a batshit crazy game, may I add.
Great game.
So you already have that factor of Oregon kind of pulling off some bullshit coming into it. If there's any coach, like you said, Grayson, to pull this off, why would it not be the coach that had been there for 3 years that knows how to stop Stetson Bennett? Because I guarantee you, he saw it practice every day. He'd be like, well, Stetson really isn't that guy, but we got to hide him behind our 5-star
my defense is so goddamn good, it don't matter.
Yeah. So, Kaleb, do exactly what you said. Just force Stetson to beat you. If he beats you, so what? Like, good God, the man is not throwing 3 touchdowns in a game. Another thing, Bo Nix has some familiarity with this Georgia team. Has he beaten them? Not really, but he does know what they're going to kind of throw at him. And he's literally, his head coach now can literally tell him what Georgia's going to throw at him. He's going to be like, hey, if you see this formation or this formation or this formation, like this is what's going to come. This is what you need to do. He's going to have the perfect game plan for how to bullshit their way around Georgia. Now, with all this said, do I think Georgia is going to lose? No, they're still going to win. But 17.5 or
17, just 17.
17.
Yeah.
Just 17? No. Here's another thing. Georgia beat every one of their opponents last year by 17 points, which is why I think the line is what it is, except one game last year. They didn't cover that spread. You know what game that was?
Bama?
Week 1.
Oh.
Week 1 against Clemson. Yeah, because I'm talking about the regular season, not the playoffs. But it was week 1. They couldn't cover it. And that was a 10-3 victory. So I'm totally with Grayson on the aspect that I think it's going to be very low scoring. I don't think Oregon can just decide to roll out there and run a hurry-up style offense and try to beat them. And the reason why I say that is you already don't want to disadvantage your defense when you're rolling out there against an SEC school. You kind of need your guys. If you kind of want to run that rotation with rotating guys a lot, do not do a hurry-up because you will burn out your guys by the second half. And I promise you, Georgia's depth players will outwork your ass come that second half. If you're Oregon, try to let Georgia dictate the pace. If they want to keep the game on the ground, that's fine. Guess what? You can get the ball in the air. You can let Bo Nix sling it from time to time, and I promise you, you can get away with it. You try to let Georgia tries to do the same thing with Stetson Bennett. I promise you, that's not going to work out for them. They're going to end up throwing themselves into a turnover battle, and if they lose that turnover battle, then you could see Oregon pulling out a win. Not saying they will.
Honestly, it wouldn't even be stupid for them to pull a safety and bring up a linebacker.
Play in the box. Play in the box.
I would try it out in the beginning and see what happens because there's just
George
Pickens ain't there. I'm not saying that the DBs at Oregon are filthy. I'm not saying that at all. But Georgia lost receivers, okay? And also, if you're at Oregon, you're fucking fast, dude. They recruit speed. That's like their whole thing. So I think 8 in the box for the opening drive might not be the dumbest thing in the world.
Put some pressure on Stetson. Make him do some dumb shit. He will do it.
Yes. You don't have to beg him to. He'll do something stupid.
He'll just do it. Yeah. He'll be scared.
Yeah. So we're all rocking with the Oregon plus 17 or Georgia plus what would it be?
No, Oregon plus 17. Oregon plus 17.
Yeah, Oregon plus 17. Yeah. But also the thing is too is this doesn't really have to do much. I just thought it was funny. How fucking Bo Nix would it be if he somehow beats Georgia and then next week they lose to Eastern Washington?
Oh, it'd be him.
It would be
He
the
throws
most-
3 picks.
It would be
3
the
picks,
most
2
Bo
picks.
Nix. Yeah, he's like 30 for 34 with 5 touchdowns against Georgia, and then he's like 10 for 50 against Eastern Washington.
Oh my god. What was the over under on this Georgia Oregon
I
game?
did not peep that personally.
I wanna. Look, all I'm saying is most likely hit the under.
Yeah.
If it's anywhere around like 56, hit the under. Georgia's defense is not gonna allow like 40 points on them. I think especially since Oregon's head coach is more defensive coordinator based, I think he's going to be as low scoring as possible. So definitely lean towards the under.
Yeah. Also, this is our game to watch. So like something we're trying to incorporate now is like if you sit down to watch TV from the 12 o'clock to 3:30 to 8 o'clock games, how to schedule it. This is our 3:30 game to watch is Oregon versus UGA.
It's 51.5. The over under.
I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
No, never mind.
But
it's too risky.
last thing I want to say before we move on to that game, regardless of this game, I think Dan Lanning at Oregon makes the Pac-12 a lot more fun because there's no defense out there and there's so much hype around. Oh, you got USC now and yada yada yada. I think it's gonna make it a lot more fun. I think it's gonna make putting a defense in the Pac-12.
I bet Oregon beats USC.
Yeah, I do too. I would take that. I mean, let's see what happens. But I mean, the last time we saw a defense in the Pac-12 was Washington, and that defense was gross.
Yeah,
it was gross.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Remember when we thought Jacob Eason was going to be the GOAT?
Moving on to our next game, we got 23 Cincinnati going to number 19 Arkansas. Arkansas is a -6 favorite over under 52. This is another 3:30 game. One of you guys want to start us off with this one?
Yeah. I try to look into it a little bit. I know Arkansas is riding some hype from last year. They're returning a lot of players. They're looking like a pretty solid program. I just think personally, Arkansas's run game is going to take over as the game goes on. I think one of Cincinnati's biggest factors for them, though, is that the war in the trenches on both sides of the ball, offensive line and defensive line, is still Power 5 capable. They can at least compete with these Power 5 programs. The only problem is you kind of see, like I said before, the Power 5 depth of some teams. You know, if you happen to sustain any injuries on that line, you're done. Like it's over from that piece. Another thing I'll say is the fact that you lost Desmond Ridder and a man named Sauce in one season. I really can't think you're going to be any better.
They lost Alec Pierce. They lost Kobe Bryant. They lost so much.
Yeah, dude, it's just like, not to say that their ranking isn't deserved, but I truly
they deserve to be
believe
top 25, 100%. They were in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, but out of respect, I'll give them that ranking, but I just don't think this is a 23 versus 19 matchup. I think Arkansas is going to win by more than a touchdown. One of Cincinnati's biggest things for them last year is they held up really well in the red zone, kind of that bend, don't break type of style. It was third in the nation in takeaways. And you go from third in the nation in takeaways to playing the best team in the SEC when it comes to not turning the ball over. Arkansas just does not turn the ball over whatsoever. And for a team that was built on the turnover battle, it's going to be really hard for them to pull it out. I have Arkansas winning this game 27-17.
Yeah, I think that's a good score. I think that Arkansas is just I think since he lost too much, I think Arkansas is still riding their hype and still haven't really peaked at like what they can do. Because I like their quarterback a lot. I think they got good playmakers and they definitely had a step up from last year. And I think they'll take another step up, and I think they'll beat them by more than a touchdown as well with Ridder and losing Sauce. I just don't think the offense will be able to do that great.
So I really like Luke Fickell. I'm a huge Luke Fickell fan. I'm a big Cincinnati Bearcat fan. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that he's a great coach, and I think he's done a lot for the sport, especially for the non-Power 5 teams. And he showed that if you find a way, it'll happen. My thing is, though, is one, KJ Jefferson, the quarterback at Arkansas, he's lethal. And the thing is, he can throw the ball and he can run the ball. I mean, dude, if you look at their success last year, they were having games where like 5 to 8 guys were getting a rushing attempt a game. So they move the ball around a lot. The next thing I want to say is we don't even know the starting quarterback for Cincinnati. They haven't announced it. It's a game time decision, he said. Luke Fickell told the team, but he's not letting it be announced until the game starts. So that's really concerning because someone like us, like an analyst or like a journalist that's trying to cover it, I can't tell. It kind of depends on who's starting, you know?
Even
so that's
the
what?
teams, like probably the receivers and shit are like, what the fuck? Like, they
Yeah,
probably,
yeah.
like, I don't like that.
I think that's going to be hard for them too. And I just think that Arkansas I think they went 9-4 last year. Let me just quadruple check this. I want to say they went 9-4 last year. They took second in their division on the SEC.
9-4.
Yeah, 9-4. But listen to this. They went 9-4, right? And they had they just pulled up their basketball team. Why the hell would it do that? All right. They went 9-4 last year, third in the SEC West, excuse me. But if you look at some of their losses, dude, they what's it called? They got mauled by Georgia, obviously. They lost to Ole Miss by 1 point. Okay. And they lost to Alabama.
That was with Matt Corral.
And they lost to Alabama by a touchdown. So that turns a 9-4 into an 11-2. 8 points. Yeah. So I just think that they're going to be prepared. It's at Arkansas. I'm going to be cheering for Cincinnati. I would like Cincinnati to win. It would make me very happy. But as a bettor, I'm going to take Arkansas -6 easy.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving forward, did a little homework on this. We have number 24 Houston as 4-point favorites traveling down to UTSA. This will be a 3:30 game. I don't know what channel it's on, but the over-under is set at 61.5. Here's what I'll say.
Houston's a -4. I don't know if you said that. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah. UTSA, I would have given them a chance if they were to still have their running back, Sincere McCormick. But the problem is they lost their star running back. So now they don't have any weapons. And I just don't think that they can even stand a chance with this Houston D. Some betting props that I was looking into, as 4-point or greater favorites last season, Houston went 5-4. So they're not the best when the lines are like this spread out, but with how weak UTSA is coming into this game, I just don't think they're really going to do much against Houston. I mean, Houston is a ranked program for a reason. They kind of have every piece back from last year. Didn't really take too much of a hit. I forget how they played out in the bowl game, but
they beat Auburn in their bowl game.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously they have the potential to beat SEC caliber teams.
I'm a big Dana Holgorsen fan too, their head coach. He was the old West Virginia coach when West Virginia was pretty good with like Clint Trickett and Will Grier.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I just have Houston winning this game, and I have them covering the spread as well.
I think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's a little like a Midwest rivalry game, you know, or they're both Texas teams as well, you know. So UTSA was phenomenal last year. I think they went like 13-1 or like 12-2. They were extremely talented. They signed their coach to $1 million deal as a Sun Belt team or as a CUSA team, which is crazy to even think about. I think that they're going to be prepared. I think it's going to be a good game. But like you said, Zach, that when you're a team that small, you got a guy, your starting running back that was as good as he was. It takes a lot out of you. And I think Houston's going to come out good. I don't remember the player, but there's a wide receiver in Houston that College Game Day voted as the most electric player in the country. So I think it'll be a fun game to watch. It'll be like one of those like small school, like banger games where it's like you turn on the channel and you're like, oh, it's actually a pretty interesting game. But I'm going to take Houston as well. I think Houston's going to hit the -4. I'm also going to hit the over. I think I'm going to take the over.
I don't really know too much about UTSA, but I feel like this is like the spread's really small for a ranked versus like a, you know, Sun Belt team.
Dude,
so
UTSA was ranked like as high as 18 last year.
Yeah, but when they're losing their their best running back and all their playmakers, like they don't reload like some of these bigger schools do. So I think that I'll take Houston -4, and I think that. But I agree that it could be a fun game to watch. Hopefully the boys are putting up some points.
Yeah, because Houston's not like the way I look at Houston is kind of like how I look at like Cincinnati and UCF. They're like a 20 team. Like they're not a Power 5 team, but they get Power 5 guys, and they have the opportunity some seasons to be a Power 5 level competition.
Yeah. Agreed.
Moving on, We have
This one's tricky.
Probably-
This might be
Yeah.
the trickiest game outside of
I
the
think I'm
Penn
seeing
State
this
Purdue
one
game.
really clearly. I think I'm seeing this one clearly. I think that Utah's just gonna walk in their fucking trap and fucking whoop their ass.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
I think
Everyone's
that,
like, "Oh, it's the swamp, bro," but they went
What's the
6
swamp?
and 7. They
Florida's
went 6 and 7.
Florida's a
bro.
bunch of nerds now, bro.
Yeah.
Third ranked private school or whatever public school. Fuck them, man.
Yeah, let's go.
They're paying $500K to get their ass whooped, bro.
All right,
Come on,
all
bro.
right.
They're paying
By
500K.
some Mormons.
Let's go.
As a Gator hater, I have to defend him a little bit here. And here's the only reason why. This is nothing to hype up UF. All I'm saying is, if we know anything about the Pac-12, it's that as long as we've known and have watched the Pac-12, it's that they will eliminate themselves before they can even put themselves in contention. If there is a game where a top contending Pac-12 team is going to shoot themselves in the foot and completely tank their rankings, this is the game to do it. You're facing a under-star-powered UF team who has a star quarterback who can literally just
What makes him a star?
Dude, he's the
He's
biggest dual
6'5"
threat.
and can run, Grayson.
Yeah, but what makes him a star? He hasn't
Yeah.
done shit. I hate all
He
these.
threw-
And look, listen, you know what?
Oh my God.
I'm calling you out. Matt McDonald, fuck you. You're like AR-15, AR-15. Dude comes in a game last year, gets hit one time, and he's hurt for like 3 more games. Like, I don't understand the hype about him. Dude, AR-15 is like the USC of football. There's like, oh, look at the potential. Look at the potential. Potential only does so fucking much. You have to do something.
I'll say this. I just think that this Florida team, the offense is either going to be, they're going to be looking great one week and they're going to be clicking, or they're just going to look like shit. Like, there's no in between, bro. Florida is so inconsistent, and I just don't think that they're ready. I think Utah's too good, too fundamental. Florida, I think, Zach, you're saying they'll shoot themselves. I think Florida's going to shoot themselves in the foot with these dumbass penalties, throwing picks, fumbles. They're not fundamental. I just think that they're not ready.
Disciplined either. They're not disciplined.
Okay.
Not disciplined.
Okay.
I just think Florida's going to lose. Go.
Okay, wait.
Go Utes, baby.
They were an undisciplined team under Dan Mullen. I had no respect for Dan Mullen. However, Billy Napier, their new head coach, former Alabama Crimson Tide coordinator, wide receiver coach, I believe. Now, am I saying he brought over a ton of star talent from the University of Louisiana? No. He only really brought over like linemen, some guys from the running back group. That's really all he did. I do think he'll bring a little more discipline to the table. I think he'll have more of like a well-commanded room of that UF. I think he'll bring him back a little bit. I don't think UF will be back as a program this year, but if there was a game to let us know if they are back or not, it's against Utah.
Yeah, but why are you disrespecting Utah like this?
Grayson.
Because it's Pac-12 football. I will never respect.
But they're good.
Pac-12.
But no, I agree. The Pac-12 sucks, but Utah is actually good.
Yeah, Utah is good. And they're decent on first games, bro. Jim Harbaugh's first year, they beat Michigan, and Michigan was loaded that year. They beat Michigan. I was like, hey, I respect these boys.
Bro, and they're returning their quarterback. What's his name? I don't remember his name. They're returning their quarterback who's already was voted a top 10 quarterback entering the season. I think Cam Rising's his name.
Yeah, it is.
They're returning him. They're a very legitimate team, and they just got decals on their helmets for the 2 players that died last year on their team. You don't think they're gonna want to go out there and whoop ass for them?
It's up, bro.
I don't understand. Like, dude, listen. This is my if I had a gun to my head and it was like you need to predict exactly how the game's gonna go, this is what I would say. The first quarter is gonna be very close. It's gonna be like 10-7. Utah's gonna go out and score. Florida's gonna go out and score. Florida's gonna somehow hold Utah to a field goal, and then they're gonna blow it out of the water. I understand the swamp is rocking. It's a very dope place. I've been to multiple games at UF. It's a fun environment, and it's bumping. But Utah's not.
For the first half.
Bro,
Yeah,
no.
What is Florida going to bring to the table that Utah hasn't seen? Because the Ohio State team that Utah should have beaten last year is 50 times better than this UF squad.
All right. Well, let me put it this way. Last year, that Utah team lost to BYU, lost to San Diego State, lost to Oregon State, and then lost to Ohio State. You lost to BYU. You lost to the Mormons. You lost to the Mormons. Now, they did lose that game 26-17. You couldn't even put up 20 points on some Mormons. And you think you're going to go into the swamp and be like, oh, we know how to play some SEC football. Dude, this is the dude, I can just, as much as I hate the Gators, I can just see Florida fans coming at us if we root against them this hard. Like, we will literally have Matt McDonald in our DMs being like, oh, you thought we were going to lose to a team called the Utes? The Utes.
Bro,
he's like, go
Gators,
baby.
Florida went 6-7 last year, losing to UCF in the bowl game. And they should have lost to Samford, who they beat 70-52, but they should have lost that game.
I just know damn well Florida doesn't all of a sudden know how to play some defense.
Yeah, that's not a one coaching change, one offseason switch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
here's my one guarantee. Here's my one guarantee though. The over-under that is set on 51 is going to be absolutely shattered because there might not be a single drive of defense played this entire game.
So the over-under should be like 70.
70. Yeah. No one is playing defense here.
No
That's
one. Kind of a lot. That might be the lock of the week.
That will be my lock of the week because I literally wrote here, expect a ass ton of points. Because no matter what, I think AR-15 is going to be able to put up points regardless. And I think Utah is just like sound, like offensively sound. And I just don't think like you hired an offensive minded coordinator and Billy Napier. So you really didn't help a lot on the defensive side of the ball. And you were already struggling last year on the defensive side of the ball regardless. And I'm pretty sure you lost a couple of star players on your front seven, which honestly would have helped you the most in this game because usually where Pac-12 struggles.
Who is Richardson getting the ball out to? Who's he throwing to? His running backs are gone. They went to the draft.
Dude, it's an SEC team though. It's they get players.
They went
we may not know their
6-7.
names.
If we put a room of college football people in a room, 100 people, and we took US name off of it, and we just presented their record. We said this was an SEC team. Do you guys think this is good? At 6-7, nobody would say yes. But since it's the University of Florida, they're like, oh well, they could. They could. But it doesn't matter what they could. They didn't. They haven't.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm scared.
What's your pick? I'm gonna give my pick right now. I'm gonna give my pick. I'm gonna take Utah -3. And I'm gonna hit the over.
Yeah. I'm just taking the over. I'm just taking the over. I'm not saying which one.
Utah -3. Utah -2. I want all that.
Give me it all.
Yeah.
Give me it all.
Yeah. I'll ride with the Utah pick just to keep the pick similar, but I'm definitely hammering the over for sure.
I just think
very
you're so overhyped, bro. And I'm a Florida State fan, and they beating us. I'm not trying to talk shit like that. I'm just saying as a non-biased hater, I just don't think they have anything to bring to the table.
Yeah. We have a far more interesting game though. Following this, however, this is our must-watch game of the day.
This is the best game of the weekend.
Yeah, best game of the weekend. We have number 2 Ohio State traveling to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Ohio State is 17 and
number 5 Notre Dame. Give them the respect. Number 2 at number 5.
Overrated.
Yeah. Your grandfather's Rudy. Number 5 Notre Dame. Let me turn in my jersey if you don't start him. Yeah. Mr. Ian Book was the promised land. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. This game will be played on ABC at 7:30. Over under set at 59. Here's what I got. Ohio State, absolutely ridiculous talent across the board. Ryan Day said it best.
Best receiving room in the country. Best receiving room in the country.
Always.
Easy.
Yeah, they're like CJ Stroud is an absolute freak of nature. But they're playing for a national championship. They always have, they always will. And I think Notre Dame is the biggest frauds always. Let me add them to the number 4 team that I hate the most in college football. I really don't understand how every year they're ranked so goddamn high. I really don't. Brand new head coach. Yeah, they're also just not that good. But here's how I see this playing out.
They're not that bad, but they're also not that good.
Yeah. If Ohio State can just defend better than what they did last year, they're national title contenders. I already think they are, but one of the biggest issues was the defensive side of the ball. They just couldn't stop a lot of teams. I don't know why. It was just a big struggle for them, but hopefully Ryan Day has gotten that shit in check. I think the Irish will try to run the ball a lot more, at least try to keep the game close and shorter, because honestly, that's kind of what Notre Dame will do. is they're literally just going to try to keep it as close as possible. So that way, when they lose, they can be like, oh, but can you please keep us in the top 10 because we only lost by 20? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Dude, you're worried about UF fans. Notre Dame fans are gonna fucking hate us.
Notre Dame's in my top 3 for fucking least favorite. Fuck
Yeah,
them.
but let me get into some facts instead of me just being a hater. When discussing scoring prowess, the Buckeyes are first in the nation with scoring at 45.5 points a game. The problem is, and this is how I think it's going to go, which is going to really fucking piss me off. Ohio State will pull out the win, but because they come out slow every goddamn year and almost lose week 1, they're going to be losing going into halftime.
Yeah.
And then they're going to end up taking the lead and winning by like 10 points. So I think the 17.5 point like margin just is way too big, especially for week 1, especially dude.
And it's at Notre Dame, regardless of what you think. Yeah, dude, regardless, listen. And I'll let you finish, Zach. I'm sorry to interrupt, but like, regardless of what you think about Notre Dame, if you like them, if you don't, no matter what, playing at Notre Dame is still hard. Yeah. They have a big ass stadium. They have a great following. So that I don't understand that. I really don't.
Yeah. I think they'll try to copy what Oregon did last year, which was just run the ball a shit ton, because I think Ohio State and their minds will be game planning for the pass a lot because they think going into it, Ryan Day will be like.
I disagree. It's a brand new quarterback. It's his first start. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think they're going to be ready for the run, and the kid's going to have to show up and have to pass.
Okay, fair enough. I usually think Ryan Day, though, he's like, oh, they're going to respect our front 7 too much, so we can kind of bank on just like sitting on the pass. And then what happens is you run a lot of these counters, these misdirections, a lot of zone reads, just a lot of stuff to like keep them off balance, to keep the linebackers in that second level guessing. And I just don't think Ohio State's going to play up that early. They're not really going to load the box. So I think if Notre Dame does stay on the ground, because what Notre Dame does do very well every year is they somehow have a very solid line. Like a lot of great linemen like Quentin Nelson, guys along those lines have come out of Notre Dame. So I think they'll still be stacked on that O-line. And I think they'll try to copy kind of that Oregon play style, keep it on the ground, keep the game short, run the clock out. Because you get into a shootout with Ohio State, I promise you, Najiba, Stroud, his wide receiver core of weapons, they'll absolutely dismantle you after a while. May not be right away, but try to keep the game as close as possible. Force them to make those like 1 or 2 mistakes, and you'll win off that. If you're trying to play as like a 4 or 5 mistake game, you're not winning that. I'm sorry. But I definitely think Ohio State will win, just not by 17.5.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that 17.5 is too big of a spread. Maybe if they played like in like 8 weeks, that's like, we'll see where the teams are both at. But like first game out the gate, you're away, you're at Notre Dame, 7:30 game, night game, and they're ranked 5, bro. This spread is a little ridiculous.
And it's I'm like 99% sure it's College Game Day.
Okay. This spread's a little ridiculous. I could see them. I agree with you, Zach. Like they'll be like come out the second half, probably end up winning the game by 10 to 14 points. I could see, but I think the Ohio State just has too many good athletes, bro. Henderson, the receiving core's nuts. Stroud's nuts. They just reload every year. But I'm curious to see who they replaced on the offensive line, because they did lose Petit, and then they lost Thayer Mumford or whatever his name is too on the right side.
Yo, guys, I'm sorry. Am I tripping right now? But College Game Day says they're going to Columbus.
That's Ohio. Columbus, Ohio State.
The game is at Notre Dame.
Oh, is that for Cincinnati, Arkansas? Or no, is that game Arkansas? Hey, yo,
this is kind of huge, actually. Like, I know I just ruined the pace of everything, but like, this is actually a big deal.
Wait, what?
No, they're at
the game is at Ohio State.
Okay, so that's why this. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Ohio State. Give me the spread.
Yeah.
Give me Ohio State spread.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You're done. You don't.
I thought it was at Notre Dame. I could have
Grayson.
sworn it was at Notre Dame.
Grayson, great call though. Okay. Yep. Anything I just said, give me the minus 17.
Yeah.
Notre Dame isn't gonna know what fucking hit them. 30 to 10.
Yeah. You're traveling, man. You're traveling to the big house.
Dude, I'm not the only one that thought that though, right? Like we all thought it was at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I could have sworn this whole time it was at Notre Dame. And I was like, oh, that's their
I will admit, I will admit, I feel like anytime I turn on my TV to like an 8 o'clock game on ABC, it's always Notre Dame playing. It's like Notre Dame is just always playing on ABC.
Dude,
Yeah, they're getting their ass kicked.
Dude, it's fuck. So listen. Going into this, I was ready to I am in no way a Notre Dame fan, but I was ready to come in here and battle you guys and fight for Notre Dame and say they were gonna barely lose, yada yada yada. Then I just look it up. It's college game day at Ohio State. Jack Harlow's performing. Ryan Day is joining them live. The 2002 Ohio State National Championship team reunion will be there, and they have another special guest. Ohio State by fucking 50, bro. They're going to run them out of the water. And it sucks. I did so much homework preparing to back Notre Dame and to be like, no, they have a shot. There's absolutely no way in hell they're winning in the horseshoe.
They're
no
fucked.
way. They're fucked.
They're going to be embarrassed off the field.
I still agree with Zach though. Sorry, Caleb. It's going to be a very close first half because Ohio State always starts off slow, and then they're going to run it up in the second. I got like 42-17 Ohio State.
Yeah, we're gonna have because in my opinion, I think they wanted to start the CJ Stroud Heisman campaign last year, but I think this year this is where they're gonna get that shit kickstarted immediately. Like they're gonna be like, yeah, this kid is like first round draft pick, like new star of the league. Like he's gonna be the face of the first NCAA. Well, I don't even think if NCAA were to come out, he's who would be on the cover of this year. That's how I think the NCAA views CJ Stroud this year. He had a fantastic year last year. He's only going to get better, especially now with a more veteran team. Ryan Day took over the reins perfectly of that program. But yeah, I had to say what I had to say about Notre Dame keeping it close because it's a Notre Dame thing to do and an Ohio State thing to do, which is just not play how you're supposed to play opening the season because there's a lot of distractions going into it. There's a ton of
completely changed everything.
Yeah.
I just completely changed everything.
Yeah.
Dude, Ohio State's going to rape them now. Fuck.
Yeah. But after, you finish watching that Ohio State ass whooping of Notre Dame, you may wake up Sunday. You may have to do some repenting to your Lord and Savior. You may have to sit down for a while, get all your demons out. But have no fear because you have all day to kill because there's only one game, and that would be at 7:30 at night when the Noles go on down to the All-State kickoff game to take on LSU. And I believe this game is at NOLA because I know a ton of kids are going to NOLA from Tally.
It's in the Saints. It's in the Saints Stadium. Dude, I just lost all my excitement for like the rest of the pod because I was so excited. Man.
Yeah, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta get a laptop charger real quick. Keep going.
Yeah, you're good. So we're looking at FSU versus LSU. LSU is opening up at 3-point favorites. Obviously, LSU new head coach Brian Kelly coming from Notre Dame. What I'm hoping is Brian Kelly still has some of that Notre Dame bullshit sprinkled on his ass as he takes his ways down to Baton Rouge. And I don't think he's going to have his boys ready for the Noles. I think the Noles really came out strong week 0 with that running back trio. I think they were solid. Now, here are some facts to support those LSU lovers. I'll get this out of the way first. LSU has a great chance to make a first impression with Brian Kelly. And for Florida State, they have a shot at beating an SEC team on the road, which they haven't done in a while. Some 2 facts that I found was Brian Kelly hasn't lost an opening game since 2016, and Florida State hasn't beaten an SEC opponent since 2017. Now, this would sound like I'm saying LSU is going to walk away with this victory. However, ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. This is Norvell's prove it year, and if there was a time to prove it, it would be against this LSU team, and I think he's going to do what he's got to do and pull out all the stops. I think we're going to see some crazy trickery. We're going to see some flea flickers. We're going to see Jordan Travis catching some passes. We're going to see running backs throwing back. Yeah. Mark my words.
No, don't do this again. Don't do this again.
All right.
If you go 2 for 2 with bold predictions, I'm going to just have to quit the pod.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I'll go with a less bold prediction though. I'm going to say Jordan Travis is going to have over 75 rushing yards. And I think FSU is going to win this game. That's my bold prediction.
I'm not even too sure about LSU this year, but I'm just going to take them just because I still don't believe in Florida State. I know you boys love them and I would ride them with you, but I just don't believe in Florida State. And I don't even like Brian Kelly. I think he's an overrated coach and he's so lame, dude. Those hype videos they were releasing, he like looks like a fucking robot. Like he's just like, he's a sicko, dude.
Dude, he has no Southern to him. That's why
Dude,
the
yes,
boys
he's
are like getting loose, and he's
this.
like,
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Wait. Please tell me y'all saw the video of his fake ass Louisiana accent.
yeah, when he went to the
Yes,
basketball
bro.
game, yeah.
Okay, you know
Yeah.
what? You know what? I'm flipping. I want to go Florida State. I fucking hate
Yeah.
LSU. I'm going Florida State, bro. Fuck it. Fuck Brian Kelly. Fuck LSU. Knowles +3, baby.
Let's go, baby. So
Yeah.
So this one was really hard for me because I met the center for LSU on my plane ride back from New Orleans this year. Talked to him a bunch. Said he was going to come on the pod and give me tickets. Ghosted me. Welcome to the life of a journalist.
Wow.
Anyways, so fuck him for that. But he was a really nice kid. Second of all, the thing is, what I look at is, regardless of your opinion on Florida State, of how they played last year, which is they went 5-7, they played shit. Their defense was phenomenal. Their defense pulled up in every game, and I think their defense might be the deciding factor in this game because you have Brian Kelly coming in, brand new coach with a brand new quarterback in Jaden Daniels, and I don't think Jaden Daniels has played a defense as good as Florida State's, or at least not beaten one. May I say? I don't think they're gonna be able to stop. I think Florida State's defense is just they're fast, they're mean, and I don't know if Jaden Daniels can play that speed of ball. He's a good quarterback. He did very well in the Pac-12, but this matchup is going to be physical and fast. There's a lot of Southern boys on these rosters, and there's a lot of mean guys that are going to drop shoulders and hit them. I don't think you get that. I don't think you get that environment in the Pac-12. You don't. I think Florida State's got to utilize the run. They got to attack the run with 3 running backs. You look at all the best Florida State teams since we've been alive, Zach, watching Florida State. They've had great running backs. Even when Jameis won the Heisman, he wouldn't have been as successful if it wasn't for the openings from the running backs. So I also the other thing that upsets me is it is in Louisiana, so it's going to be kind of a home game for LSU.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked.
Yeah, that's going to be same with the kickoff game with Georgia. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know why they should have flipped them.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. They should have. That was great point there by Kaleb Karnes. I'm gonna rock with Florida State though, just because I think that game one, getting the jitters out is gonna help them out. I don't really have too much more to say. They're like super fucking evenly matched teams.
Yeah.
So I think Florida State, I think the diversity of how they can score and then the pressure of shutting down Jaden Daniels, I think Florida State takes it.
Yeah.
Low scoring game.
Yeah. I think the only reason I say this, and it's because I think Florida State showed a lot of offensive schemes versus Duquesne where they showed a lot of zone reads, but we always ended up giving the ball to the back. We did not utilize Travis on the ground at all, except for that one rushing touchdown. And it kind of confused me. I was like, why aren't we just like at least giving him chances?
They didn't want to risk him. Like they didn't want to risk him getting hurt or
I don't know. I don't think it was a risk thing. I think is we showed such strength in the running back group that LSU is going to commit so hard to our running backs and the run game that it's going to allow Travis to just slip. Play action pass is going to open up. It's going to allow him to keep some of those reads, take off to the outside, buck sweeps, veer options. Like the option game we did utilize at all week one and we didn't really need to. But if you're game planning against Florida State, I would only bank on the run. I would force Travis to beat you through the air. But I think Travis has taken some massive strides as a pure quarterback, like throwing the ball, making proper reads. I think he's done a lot better, even just in that week one. So I think he's going to be a big surprise. I do have that bold prediction. He's going to have over like 50, 75 rushing yards. I truly believe that. But don't be surprised if he also opens up for over 200 yards in the air. Like I would not be surprised.
I don't think he's the best pocket passer, but I think he's one of the best rollout passers in the college football.
Yes.
Because I don't even know if it's because his arms not good or the threat of his feet bite people down, but he's really good at play action. I think that, like you said, that could open a lot of doors for Florida State.
Yeah. So rolling in, that will wrap up Sunday. We have one more game.
It's not even a game. It's a massacre.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you are a sick bastard and you like watching just teams get absolutely pummeled, you sick fuck, then tune in at 8 p.m. as you watch a Power 5 number 4 Clemson take on a completely depleted engineering school of math nerds, Georgia Tech. Because I'm going to be honest, I really think Georgia Tech may not win a game this year. They play one FCS opponent, and that'll be their only win. They may even lose their bye week. To be honest, they'll probably like get a coach fired during their off week, and they'll lose that shit too. Yeah, Clemson may actually not even make this remotely interesting. But if you just like that we're in the season of college football and you just want to hear that ESPN broadcast going on in the background while you knock out some Monday homework, or you're sitting down, just got off work, want to throw something on, go ahead, turn it on, watch. If you're a Clemson fan and you want to, get your hype up for DJ, turn the ball over, whatever his name is, go right on ahead, turn that on. I'm all for it. Watch some football. But yeah, I literally didn't even do research on this game because I could literally put my literal life on the line to say that Clemson is going to win this game. And with that, I will give my sign off. Great week of college football. I don't know if you guys want to say anything about it.
I have the exact same.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Even though it's screw Dabo, NIL deals, we can't be paying these kids. You make $10 million. Screw yourself. I don't care. You're just mad that now other teams can finally pay their players too. Get over yourself. You were only good because Trevor Lawrence was there. Just kidding. You did build a solid program. I'll respect you for that. But yeah, solid week one preview. I'm sticking with my picks. Yeah, Grayson, Kaleb, pleasure having you boys on.
It was great. Appreciate y'all boys.
Hell yeah. We'll check back in with y'all later.